All right, guys, welcome in. It is Brad with College SportsCast, and I am here to do tonight our combo show of the weekend wrap up of the last week and the Big Fuss show for week 23. All right, guys, welcome back. It is Brad with College Sportscast. Jason Harrison is set to join me. Hammonds is not. So I'm not sure. I've got Jason here, but he's having trouble with his video, it seems. Jason, can you hear me?
Go to the other one. Go in the other bathroom. Can you hear me, man?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, hold
I
on.
can hear you. I can't see you, but that's
I know
good.
you said Skyler. Skyler. It's a bathroom right here. Yeah.
All right. He's got kids, got a family, all that good stuff. So I'll wait for him for just a minute.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm trying to fix that camera. I don't know. It didn't come on with it.
I'm not sure, man.
I know you hear me though, so we're gonna get
Yeah,
together.
I got you. I can hear you. Yeah.
Touch
So
your
I've got
mouth.
Jason Harrison with me. And John Hammonds is not going to be on tonight. So it's just going to be me and Jason. And I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. I've had a really busy 2 or 3 days. And today I rushed in to watch the Kentucky game that just ended about 10, 15 minutes ago. And I have not had the time to usually prep like I normally do. So I have not prepped for this show quite like I normally do. Now Jason looks like he's running through some screens here on here with us, but I still don't see him. I can see the screens, but I can't see him.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm trying to figure it out right quick.
I'm not real sure what's going on, man.
Man, I don't know. The screen, I don't know if the screen is. I didn't touch anything. I might got too much stuff up.
Well, I'll just jump into some stuff. So I got to cover the women's game on Sunday. We did not do our weekend wrap-up show, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the stuff that happened over the weekend and kind of wrap things up from last week. Plus, we'll get into a couple of stuff for our Big Fuss show that we normally do. But we'll probably do an abbreviated version of this show tonight because we have not prepped like we normally do. I know I have not got to prep like I normally do for this show. And Hammonds is out because Kentucky just lost and didn't look very good tonight. But that's, it happens.
That's the road life. That's the road life.
I mean, yep. And, it happens. It's not what any of us wanted to see tonight. But Jason and I have talked about it several times since Jason's been back with me. The road life in the SEC or any of these big conferences for that matter is tough as nails. And South Carolina has played us tough. They have now won 4 of the last 7 games versus Kentucky, including knocking us off last year in Rupp Arena. So You have to give them credit. They had, they are a honestly, a great defensive team. And tonight they knocked down shots, and they were at home in front of a rowdy crowd, and they knocked down shots. So, you have to give them a little bit of credit. I think Jason's trying to work on his video. I'm not sure why his video is not coming on. I think he's trying to work on his video, so maybe Jason will get back with me. But I did get to go to Rupp Arena on Sunday. I'll talk to you guys a little bit about that. I am now a media credentialed with Greenville Sports Media, and I am covering women's college basketball. And I got to go to Rupp Arena. They played Missouri, SEC game on Sunday. They come away with a big home court win. Kentucky is, I think, one game under 500 now. I think they're 9-10. Kyra Elzy has them playing pretty well at home. I think they are 9-2 on the year at home, but they have no wins outside of the friendly confine of their home environment, and that includes road and neutral courts. But hopefully they can change that, because this week they play 2 road games. They play Arkansas and Alabama this week on the road. Be 2 tough games. But you can find articles that I write, greenvillesportsmedia.com. Check them out, doing some coverage of the women's Kentucky Wildcats. And I am very happy to say that I was invited to be a media credential with them, and I get to cover them, and I am doing the home games as of right now. So check out all my articles on Kentucky. You can also find me on Twitter at BradCSCast there on the screen. And I do some tweeting and stuff about the Kentucky women's team as well. They played really well on Sunday. Maddie Shear had 19 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. And Russell, Ania Russell really led the team with 20 points, had 7 rebounds, played really well. Asia Petty actually had a double-double with 10 points or 12 points and 10 rebounds as well. So, and Sanaya Tyler had double figures with 10 points, a couple of big 3-pointers to start the second half, and had 10 points as well. So they played well and won 76-71 over Missouri. And they are now sitting at 2-3 in the SEC and 9-10 overall. So that's the reason why I did not have the show on Sunday and why I am with you here today. You can also go to homefieldapparel.com, and there's over 180 teams to choose from. They have a lot of new drops. They had some new drops with UCLA and Nevada and Arizona in the past 7 days. You can check out some new stuff there, but you can find some really cool retro logos, mascots, some throwback teams, and get in the team spirit, in your team spirit, your favorite team spirit. Just use our code CSCast for a 15% discount. All right. I'm not sure. I know Jason's was working on it. So I will start with college basketball polls. New poll come out yesterday. UConn is still ranked number 1. And this is their second week ranked at number 1. Purdue is number 2. Purdue comes in at number 2. UNC moves to 3. They went up 1 spot to 3. Houston moved up a spot to 4. Tennessee moved up a spot to 5. Kentucky moved up 2 spots to 6 before tonight's game. Kansas fell 4 spots to 7. Auburn moved up 5 spots to 8. Auburn is playing really, really well in the SEC. The only undefeated team still in the SEC. They are sitting at 5-0 before tonight's games, and I'm not sure when they play again, to be honest with you. I think they are off midweek this week. Auburn is. Arizona moved up 3 spots to 9. Illinois comes in 4 spots higher at 10. That is your top 10 for this week. Oklahoma 11, Duke 12, Wisconsin 13, Marquette 14, Baylor 15. That is your top 15. Dayton moved up 5 spots to 16. They are setting at 15-2 as of yesterday when the poll came out. Creighton is 17. Utah State is 18. Memphis fell 9 spots to 19. Texas Tech is 20. BYU is 21. FAU, Florida Atlantic, is 22. Iowa State is 23. Colorado State is 24. And New Mexico slides in the poll this week, their first week, and slides in at 25. New Mexico is 16-3 out in the Mountain West and been playing some really good ball for Richard Pitino. Check them out. They have guard by the name of House, and they also have Jamal Mashburn Jr. You can check them out. New Mexico is playing some really good ball out in the Mountain West. Hey, look at there. I can see Jason Harrison.
Man, look, I had to realize that my wife, being the smart lady that she is, I have the laptop open. She always thinks somebody's going to be watching me or doing something. Came and just closed my little camera. And I wonder what's going on. Close it at the top. I'm like.
Oh, at the top? Yeah. Okay. I said it. I knew it was on your end. I knew it wasn't on my end.
Yeah. Totally.
So I just ran through the new AP poll this week for college basketball. We've got some teams that have been playing really well. I talked about Auburn. I mean, they go 10 deep. They have been, and when I say 10 deep, they have 10 guys that are averaging between 24 and 16 minutes a game. And
man, they mollywopped Ole Miss this weekend.
Yeah, man. I mean, they've just been playing really, really well. They moved up to 8 in the polls this week.
I thought it was 5.
No, they're 8 in the AP poll.
You're right. It was Tennessee.
Tennessee's
5. Tennessee was 5.
Yeah. But I wanted to give Auburn a lot of credit. They've been playing some really good ball.
They have.
Now, I will say this, man, when it comes to Auburn, they have 0 quad 1 wins. They're 0-2 in the quad 1s. So, I still have a little bit of question marks on them because, I still feel like, let's wait and see when they go up against some of these, I don't know, higher net ranked teams at least.
Their schedule is pretty favorable right now for them.
Yeah.
I don't think they get into the meat and potatoes of their schedule just yet in the SEC. So they're about to get tested. They're about to get tested.
Yeah. So I'm not saying that they're not. They've been playing really well, and I'm impressed by the way they play. But, that's just one team that they do not have any quad 1 wins yet.
Mm-hmm.
And my question is this, when it comes to them real quick, they have 0 quad 1 wins. They're actually 0-2. They don't have any bad losses or nothing like that. Okay. They're 16-2 before as of yesterday, they're 16-2, but with no quad one wins. I think they're 5-0 in quad two wins, I think. But they've raised them up. They are sixth in the net rankings. How does somebody get sixth in the net rankings and have 0 quad one wins and be 0-2? I don't understand that.
Your guess is just as good as mine now.
I don't really understand that one. But, the teams at the top, UConn, Purdue, North Carolina, have been playing really well. Houston has rebounded off of their tough week a couple of weeks ago and have bounced back and won some Big 12 games now. They lost 2 on the road a couple of weeks ago. They are 16-2. Tennessee is looking like a really, really good team, and they are fifth. Now, Kentucky is sixth. They had been playing really well. Now they run up with a buzzsaw tonight. South Carolina has played tough all year long, and especially on the defensive side of the ball. And they just, honestly, it was, as a Kentucky fan, it was pretty shocking for us to look that bad on offense when we have such an explosive offense. But any given night, offensively, you can struggle, and they certainly did tonight. So,
you got to pack your defense. You got to pack your defense on the road in the SEC. You got to.
Yeah.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
In South Carolina, shot really well, hit like 11 or 12 3-pointers. They've only been averaging like 5.5, something like that. And they shot really well on top of that. And Kentucky just didn't shoot. I think that might be the lowest. I think we hit 4 3-pointers tonight, which might be the lowest that we've hit all season.
Yeah, I caught a little bit of it. I didn't get a chance to see it as much as I wanted to see it because I was doing homework. And then I was trying to catch my old high school, and I'm watching them. They're getting beat 64-39. But South Carolina's playing very well. I'm telling you what's going on. He really has something going on down there in South Carolina. I think that he has done a great job of building in the portal. You got to think about that. He did a great job building the portal, kept some guys that were key for his returners. And then, when you mix in a good group, man, they're really connected. To me, they are the dark horse coming out of the SEC right now. They play well. They're big. They're physical. They match up well. They had a stretch 4 who really can shoot it. Like I say, it's one of them games, but kind of like Josh just said, it was a bad game. You're going to have bad games.
Offensively, guys, with Kentucky tonight, they just didn't have it. Outside of Reeves and Dillingham, Mitchell played decent down low, had double figures. But, I don't think anybody else on the team scored more than 2 or 3 points. Nobody. Nobody. And offensively, they just couldn't hit nothing. I can tell you this, I didn't look at the final stat sheet, but at halftime, outside of Robert Dillingham, outside of one player, the rest of the team was 6 of 24 from the floor.
That's bad, man. It's bad.
Yeah. They couldn't hit nothing tonight. So, that happens. And hopefully they will go to Arkansas because that's where they go next for another tough road game and bounce back this weekend in front of College Game Day.
I think they will. I think they'll beat Arkansas. They'll beat Arkansas. Now it's going to be a tough one because that crowd is going to be rocking, and it's going to be one of them situations.
Game Day is going to be there for the first one of the season. They're going to be there. It's the first time they've ever been to Bud Walton Arena as well. So
yes, so that's what the game's going to be rocking. So they're going to have to grow up very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. They will 100%. We're going to find out. I have said I'm in a group. Josh is one of them that's with us here tonight uh, in the chat. Um, I'm in a group, and I told everybody this is going to be a week. We're going to find out if Kentucky really has something. And of course, tonight was a stinker, so they
Yeah.
can't they can't drop two if they're really going to be a challenger. So they've got to bounce back quick and go and win in a tough environment on Saturday. So um, another really real quick, I'll go to some college sports news, and I want to bring this in just because I want to see what you say about it.
Okay.
I seen today where UGA 10 passed away today or last night. It was either today or last night. Which is the live dog mascot, bulldog mascot for the Georgia Bulldogs.
Now, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I didn't know that. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
You had me over here about to look at my phone. Like, what did I miss? I didn't get a chance. You know what? My dream. The funny part is my dream dog was a bulldog. I always wanted a bulldog. Only dog that I really got was a pit bull. But yeah, I hate it. You know what I'm saying? Because I know a lot of people are avid dog lovers, animal lovers in general. And anytime that a dog that is thrust, because I know they have them year in and year out, dogs that are thrust into the spotlight, man, you know, they're love like part of the family. So I know.
10 is the all-time winningest live mascot.
Wow.
For Georgia football, by the way.
Wow.
So my question to you, and I don't really know that much about bulldogs, but apparently like they have a short lifespan because it seems like the last one just passed away like 4 or 5 years ago, if that.
Man, I don't know. I know they're very human-like. They're expensive. They snore, and they're good. But they're good dogs. They're good dogs, from what I understand. But yeah, something. I had a partner. I had a friend of mine who used to have two, and his two did pass away. So yeah. So
I'm thinking. I don't know this, but if somebody's on with me and knows or whatever, I just was wondering what their, if their lifespan for a bulldog was like way shorter than some dogs or what. I don't really know. All right, so I'm gonna hit a couple of people. Robert Rhodes, hello. Jason or Josh is asking Jason, do you have any eligibility left?
Man, listen. Nah. Hey, hold on. I might have a grad. You know, they getting these grad transfers. I might have a grad year left, but I wouldn't be any good.
Jason's gonna ask for a COVID year.
Hey, a COVID and a grad transfer a year. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get grad transfer. We had grad transfer back then. It would have been something.
I know.
That would have been
very
something.
True, man. That's very true. Kentucky absolutely gets everybody's A game. I've said that all along. All of these road games are going to be tough. Josh, you are the one of them that I've been telling this. Like, there's none of these games that's going to be easy. They're going to have to earn these victories. And tonight, they just didn't play well enough to earn a victory. Robert, Arkansas, I hope Kentucky does go and beat Arkansas. It's going to be a huge bounce back game for them on Saturday. So we will see. All right. So I'm going to get to the scoreboard. So for tonight, hang on, I'm in the wrong. All right, tonight's games finals. Dayton has beaten LaSalle 66-54. South Carolina defeats Kentucky 79-62. Texas beats number 11 Oklahoma 75-60. Duke wins at Louisville 83-69. And Wisconsin survives at Minnesota 61-59. Wisconsin is ranked 13 as well. Right now at halftime, Creighton is behind 1 point to Xavier at home, 39-38. Michigan is leading Purdue 34-21 with 3:21 left in the first half. And Houston is leading BYU by 33-32 with 2 minutes and 47 seconds in the first half left in that game.
And you know why I'm laughing, because it's what we talked about. When you leave a conference and you go into a conference kind of like Kentucky, and it's true, Kentucky's getting everybody's shot. It's the championship game against Kentucky because of the program. Houston, they had a mystique. They were year in and year out. They were one of the top teams in the country. And you focus. They're getting everyone's best shot because they know they're top 20, they're a top 10 team at any point in time in the year. They're at least a top 10, sometimes number 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way down to 10. And they know if you that increases your chances of getting to that dance by beating Houston.
Yep, absolutely. Last night's games, there was 2 top 25 games last night. North Carolina whooped Wake Forest 85-64, and Kansas survived at home 74-69 against Cincinnati last night.
Good game. That was a good game. I kind of watched some of that. It's like all these games are going to be going down to the wire now, man. It's, I'm looking at TCU right now, who has been giving everybody fits. They're down 16 to Oklahoma State right now, on the road. So, I mean, sometimes you just have to weather the storm. And if you have a good teams play defense on the road to get back into it.
All right, guys. I am going to move to a couple of no-fly zone segments here. And my first one is court storming. It actually happened tonight in Columbia. And there was actually time left on the clock. And South Carolina was dribbling out the clock with about 6, 8, 10 seconds left. And Cal called his players in, and they ran off the court before the clock actually ended because there was a court storming going on. And I'm bringing this up because, Jason, I don't know if you noticed, but over the weekend, I think it was on Sunday, Ohio State beat Iowa in women's college basketball, and Caitlin Clark got hit and run and knocked down by some court storming people. And there's been kind of a buzz about it this week because Caitlin Clark's more than likely the best player in women's college basketball, and the likelihood that she could get hurt and stuff like that is coming up, and people are talking about it. I wanted to know, what is your thoughts? What do you think something needs to be done about court storming that has not been done?
To be honest, I think that is such a college tradition that we have to be careful about what we do right there. And in her position, the second angle I seen was she kind of ran into the fan. She thought the fan had actually was going to run past her. I think she was shocked by seeing someone and threw her arms out to protect herself. But you see what I'm saying? And it was a good thing about it. I know she wasn't hurt. She wasn't hurt like that. I think she was, I think she was just shocked and she fell. Fortunately, she's not going to be hurt. But no, I mean, it's tradition. It's tradition. I don't think it should be outlawed. Because think about it. That's a way to get camaraderie with the school. Court storm. That's the way to do it. But if you haven't won like that before, you're going to want to experience a court storm. I think I've had a couple, but I mean, I think most people, and I'm gonna play devil's advocate. You hadn't heard about this happening with the men. When the men court storm, they're already prepared for it. You see what I'm saying? And so accidentally, two women bumped into each other.
I mean, here's what I'm going to say about it. I've never really liked the whole court storming thing. I think it's dangerous. I have seen you're saying it doesn't happen with the men. It has in the past, but over the last 5 years or so, I think coaches are becoming way more aware of it. And just like tonight, what I was talking about, I mean, Cal's calling his team off the court before the game actually ends. Which, is a safety thing, and I get it. But at the same time, man, I mean, these are the players that, that are performing for your school and for the other school. And I just think that something really needs to be done about it. And everybody tells me, well, just make them pay more money. 150,000, 100,000 is not working. Make them pay more money. I don't think money is the way to stop it. I'm going to say something to you, and Jason, you're not going to agree with this, but I'm going to say something here. If you really want court storming to stop, and I'm not saying that you have to do this, but if you really want court storming to stop, there's one way to do it. And there's only one way to do it, if you ask me. And that is simply making the team that court storms forfeit the win. If you make them forfeit the win, that shit will stop. Plain and simple. If you take away the win from the team, they won't do that no more. Now, I'm not saying to you guys that is exactly what needs to happen, but what I am saying is if you truly want it to stop, then all you have to do is take away the W. If you take away and make them forfeit the win, the fans won't do that no more. What do you think, Jason? You think they will?
Now listen, if they do that, yes, 9 times out of 10, you will see less people storming the court. I can 1000% agree with you.
That's the only way to do it. If you say, well, fine them $1 million. Well, some of these teams, I mean, Texas A&M just paid what, $180 million or something to get rid of Jimbo Fisher, or $80 million or something. Do you really think?
Hey, in the day that they fired him, they showed $180 million donation check to the school.
Yeah.
It's like,
right.
Money is not the issue.
Money's not gonna
I will put it on the security to they need to be better. I mean, you have security at these games. I would think security needs to be a whole lot better. I think that's a safety issue. So you have to put it on the security. You're paying security a whole lot of money to make sure everyone's safe. And I think they're just being a part of the game, being part of it. Instead of, let's wait. Hold on. Allow the kids to get off the court, or at least the visiting team to get to a safe space, protect them, and then allow the court storming to happen. You see what I'm saying? Let's guide the visiting team out. That's losing. Let's guide them out. That's what I would say. I would say that, because you don't want to take away you know what I'm saying, fanfare and having a chance to experience it, because you only experience it every now and then. Think about this. When was the last time, and it's probably been a minute, that Kentucky lost to South Carolina in South Carolina? You see what I'm saying? So it's not, and I'm not saying they never lost in South Carolina, but Kentucky is here. South Carolina is here. They're trying to get to a Kentucky stage. And so you have to let them celebrate. That's all about college basketball.
Tonight, I'm going to be honest with you, Jason. They have beat us 4 of the last 7 times. This is now 3 out of 4 times they beat us in South Carolina.
And every time they storm the court.
But why? Why do they need to storm the court tonight?
Because it's Big Blue. Big Blue.
But they've beat us 4 out of 7 and 3 of the last 4 in Columbia.
Think about it. Hey, listen. Let's not act like Big Blue is not getting all the shiny new toys year in and year. And I'm talking about players. Shiny new toys year in and year out. They're getting the top of the top. They're always talked about. And so in order to be a program,
act like you've been there before.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm just saying, at some point, Jason, you got to act like you've been there before.
But Brad, they're not us. They're not us. That's the thing. Like, do you remember when we was young?
If you want to be at the top, if they want to climb the ladder in the SEC, at some point they got to act like they've been there before.
I mean, you're right. You're not saying nothing wrong. But what I'm saying is just one thing we have to do. You got to take the emotions out of it and call it what it is. When we were young, we had the older people telling us the same thing. Act like you've been there before. You don't need to be doing this. You don't need to be doing that. You see what I'm saying?
I've been told that all my life. And you know what I've done most of the time? I've acted like I've been there before.
He said, Jason, can you imagine security that you would need? Yes. If we go to any arena, there's people at the top, there's people at the bottom, and exactly, you can protect the visiting team. You can rope around the visiting team to make sure that they don't have nothing happen. When they storm the court, when you play, it costed.
I mean, Josh, on top of an injury, I mean, there have been people who have been trampled to death in crowds like not necessarily on a basketball court during storming. Okay,
it's just not basketball though. It happens in football.
But I'm just saying, in crowds, there are times where people have been trampled to death.
Yeah, but not in a court storming or a field storming. Maybe a concert when they're running. But this is not the same thing. So what I'm saying is, the schools are making millions of dollars. Okay, I seen the other day that if it was a small school, then the big ups at one thing, but conference games, that's ridiculous. I can understand that. But if you want crowd support, this is the thing that you have to do. But you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared. Bottom line, you got to protect the visiting team. That's all I say. You got to protect the visiting team. You guys make all the right points. I get it. I'm with y'all on that. But in order, because one thing they're not gonna say, we're gonna stop you court storm. Now, unfortunately, the young lady who from Iowa who got hurt or fell, it brought more to light because she was running, trying to get out of there.
She was trying to get off the court. That's what she was trying to do.
Now let's do this. Your instincts kick in. When a crowd is running, they tell you, do not run away from the crowd. Stop. They tell you to stop. And make sure. You're running, somebody's going to happen. Now, I'm not saying that in that heat of the moment that she even thought like that. But think about it. I think like that. Court storm, and let me make sure I don't bump into nobody. I'm looking. I'm not even running because they're running. Now I'm protecting myself. I'm not going to run.
You're talking about a girl who is about 3 weeks away from breaking the Division I all-time women's scoring record.
No, wait. We can't say that. We can't say that. Now we can't say that because it could be. See, and that's my little bias with it. If it wasn't her, then we wouldn't be talking about it. Let's talk about it when it happens to someone else. It's very unfortunate that
I'm
the
not
most
saying it's right,
polarizing.
Jason. I am not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right, not one bit. But
I'm not arguing the most polarizing women's basketball player.
Talking about a girl who's probably going to be the number one all-time scorer in college basketball, women's college basketball.
I get that. It could have happened to the walk-on, and it wouldn't be a story. It wouldn't be a story. Right. They would talk about it.
Especially if it was in the women's game, it wouldn't be a story.
Especially. It just so happened to be the young lady who is very polarizing. Everybody in the nation knows who this young lady is. See what I'm saying? But it's very unfortunate it happened. But if fans weren't on the court, she wouldn't have gotten hit. That is my point. I mean, yeah, but she also has to protect herself. It's something like that's going on because I guarantee you that's not the first court storm that they've been a part of. That's not the first one. And it won't be the last.
I don't think it happens a lot in the women's game. But I also don't think there's as many upsets in the women's game. But let me say this. Ohio State has been ranked. Last year, they were ranked in the top 5, top 10. Like, Ohio State is a really, really good women's program. Like, that's at some point, you have to act like you've been there before.
Well, you do know Utah did the same thing now. When Utah just got finished doing the same thing.
We're not talking about like Western Kentucky beat Iowa.
Utah just beat USC. Utah has been beating the top rank. So that's what I'm saying. Utah, they have been doing it in Utah. No one got hurt. None of that. Utah, who they beat? They beat USC the other day. They beaten a lot of top ranked teams. And you see what I'm saying? So it happened. It's just very, very unfortunate. Now watch this. It's always been a problem. We've always talked about it. And you guys are going to feel the same way. And I feel the same way too. You got to protect the players as well. You got to be cautious. But unfortunately, the young lady who got hit, it just brought a huge light to it. A huge light. Because
it's a story that I couldn't pass up. We had to talk about it because it's been a big story for the last 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So, I had to bring it up. Now, this is also including Ohio State. And I'm bringing this up because I, for one, am going to be on a high horse here. I don't like it. I don't think it should be happening. I don't think that it should be involved in college sports, period. And I for sure hate to see it with the highest ranked teams and having the impact that it's going to have on the college game. And this one, I am talking about Ohio State, who for 5 recruits in the transfer portal, they have landed for 5 recruits and they have paid over $13 million to get them to come to their school and transfer, including one from Ole Miss right there in your alma mater, the running back that was all-world running back last year, okay? Including him.
I heard he was a problem. He was a major, major problem in Oxford, wanting certain things to happen. And sometimes, Kiffin made a tough decision. You let a guy who's not going to play on Sunday go.
My issue is this. Pay for play in the NCAA is supposed to be illegal.
Man, Brad, Brad. Come on now, Brad.
I don't give a shit what is actually going on. What Brad. I give a shit about is what is supposed to happen.
You tell me what's supposed to happen, Brad.
I just said it. It is supposed to be illegal.
Okay. Tell me why it's supposed to be illegal. Because this is what I'm saying.
Amateur sports. We're not. This is not pros.
Hey man, listen. For decades, we've been saying this is not right. So let me tell you, it's an amateur sport, right? It's an amateur sport. So why do
it's amateur sport? It's
so
not
why
pro.
do the
Are these dudes having to sign contracts?
Oh, now they're signing endorsement deals.
Are they having to sign contracts?
They're signing NIL deals. Yes, they're signing them.
No. They're not signing. They're not having to sign any long-term, like any deals and any contracts.
So you do know with contracts, there's wording in there where the contract can be void at any time. It can be voided. You have language in contracts now, Brad.
I am not against kids getting paid.
So why are you saying why are you so mad about the pay-for-play now?
I am not mad at kids getting paid. They're supposed to go to the school and do good and get money. But what's not supposed to happen is that other schools call you and say, "Hey, we can do better."
Well, they were in the transfer portal. They were in the transfer portals though already.
Come on now. You believe that? You believe all that happened before they hit the transfer portal?
No, because I have inside information that I know. You know, I have a very good friend whose son is a very good basketball player right now, and he's being called by other schools saying, "Hey, if he comes back to school, X, Y, Z." And so I do know that. But that is the nature of the game.
No, it's not, Jason. That's what has gotten teams like SMU. That's what got them damn near destroyed with their football program. That's what got Kentucky banned in the late 80s. That's what's gotten all kinds of probation and postseason bans. That's never been a part of the game. Not fairly. I mean, it has happened, but every time that it has happened and somebody got caught doing it, there was punishment.
Okay, understandable, but it's kind of, man, now watch this. This is what I have a problem with. Now let's just be this. This is what I have a problem with. How can I, you, and whoever go out and play the game that we love, right? But we can't take our parents out to eat when they come see us. We got to call home. Now, watch this, Brad. Watch this, Brad. You tell me what is this? If I get up at 6 to run, if I go to workouts after breakfast, so I run, breakfast, lift, and then I work out, right? I've done all these things before a regular college student has gotten out the bed. And then I go to my first class. I get up, run on the track. I go eat breakfast.
Read that.
You just think programs we get sanctioned over fast food dinner. Now we have this. I mean, we get sanctions. No, they won't get it over there now because they can just pay for them. What I'm saying is, if I'm doing all this, hold on, Brett, but I'm doing all of this. I am getting up at 6 to run. Then I got to go eat breakfast. Then I got to go to the weight room. Then I got to go have individual workouts. And after that, I got to go to class. I got to go to class, same amount of hours. Then when I get out of class, I got to practice. Then when I got to practice, I got to study hall. Then I got to do it all over again. Then I have to play in the game. Hold, I got to leave the day before the game. I got to fly out. Then we got to play the game. Then after the game, I got to fly back. And no matter what time I get back, I'm asked to get up and go to class. When a regular student can miss a class and still pass the class. But I'm in class each and every day. I am working more than the average student. And so I should be treated as such. Okay,
but
watch this.
Watch this.
Watch this, Brad. Hold on, one last point.
It's getting paid.
Now, Brad is my coach. Brad is my coach. I win games. Brad take care of his family because we're winning games. Brad gets a $2 million raise, right? You know what he does with his players? He invites them over and cooks them dinner. A dinner that probably was catered by a booster, right? I don't have to spend any money. Brad lives in a house where he doesn't pay any rent or anything. He has a house. He has a car, right? He has a radio budget. He has gear, right? He has all these paid things that he's doing while we're doing most of the work. And all you give us is a check a month that all we can do is just buy something to eat and just barely live? No, that's very unfair.
Jason, you are talking about the way it was when you were in school. That's not the way it is now.
How is it not?
Because these players get NIL deals and they're making money. Most of them's making $100,000 or more.
So what I am saying is, if they had been doing this, it wouldn't be a problem, because right now it'd be regulated. It would be regulated. The problem
now,
is
what I am talking about here, Jason, is that we actually have players that are at a school. Okay, they are enrolled playing at a school, and you have 12 teams that keep calling them and saying, you should come here, you should come here, we can pay you more, we can pay you more. That's bullshit and wrong, and it should not be happening in the game.
I mean, it shouldn't be. You're right, but it's gonna happen,
and something needs done. And I'm going to put this on the screen because FSU just got in some trouble and for shady NIL deals, and they are investigating Jason Rashada and Florida with that $13 million deal that fell through last year. And I'll be honest with you, I don't give a shit if it's Ohio State, the Ohio State or not. With what's going on, I think they should be busted too.
Nah, I mean, you got to look at it, man. These numbers are these numbers. I mean, it's been going, man. Listen, then I didn't even say the TV money, revenue sharing. It's like you got to give a kid what they're giving the kids. Man, they're throwing around. They've been throwing it around, though, Brad.
There are quarterbacks in college that are making more than the quarterbacks who are starting in the NFL.
Well, there's only one. There's only a few of them that's doing that. Let's just be real now, Brad. There's only a few of them. Every quarterback who's a quarterback who's been in a contract year has gotten paid. The only one.
There are quarterbacks in college, and I'm not talking about. There are starting quarterbacks that's only making $600,000, $700,000, $800,000, and there are starting quarterbacks in college that are making $2-3 million.
Who? Purdy? That's it. Everybody else is paid. We talking about one quarterback, Brad. You talking about Purdy over there in San Francisco, and guess what? He's about to get paid. It won't be like that no more. Now, if you said they're making more money than
there was a bunch of them this year because there was a bunch of quarterbacks that got hurt.
Yeah.
And they were backups playing and starting in games this year.
But that's what I'm saying, though, Brad. It just come. The NCAA did this for so long, they could have gotten it right. This is what I think they should do.
But it doesn't make a difference. You have to adjust what's going on now, and you have to make something right now. You can't just let it be the wild fucking West.
Hey, that's what they did. Now, let's go back, Brad. You remember the Fab Five? The Fab Five, right? The Fab Five. We heard about that story, right? You heard about that story. The Fab Five. Freshman in college.
Jerry Carter. The Packers should have beat y'all fast, and you know it.
Hey, the Fab Five were rock stars and broke. They're making money off of Chris Webber, Jalen Rose, Juwan Howard, Jimmy.
30 years ago.
But that's what I'm saying. They saw it back then.
You're talking about 30 years ago with the Fab Five.
But I'm talking about what could have been done when you have a team that's making the institution that much money. Like we get, Brad, tell me the average weekend draw when Kentucky football is real good. What is it like in the weekend up there for Kentucky football? Is everything not packed? Is the economy not boosting?
Well, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So if your football team is good And every Saturday or whenever you
It
play,
still doesn't mean that you should be able to buy players.
Brad, it's the rules now. You
No,
got
it's
to
not.
change.
The
It is.
actual rules, Jason, is pay for play is illegal. That's the rule.
That's not the rules now. That's not the
Yes, it
rules.
is.
Who
Look
said
it
pay
up.
for play?
That's the rules.
They make it legal with NIL. They have a
No,
collective.
sir.
You know what happens?
NIL was never meant to be pay for play. Pay for play is still listed as illegal.
And so you change the wording and say it's NIL deal, name, image, and likeness. Guess what? You have tons of boosters. You know this. You have tons of boosters who are pouring money.
Call other programs and other schools and be like, hey, you need to come here. We can outdo them. We can do this. We can pay that. That crap has got to stop. It's going to kill college sports.
Well, I'll say this.
If you don't stop it, Jason, in 10 years, we won't have the college sports like we've known it. We will have 16 teams that's left that are just paying everybody, and that's where everybody goes. And then we'll have like Division II and NAIA and stuff, and that's what we'll have.
Yeah, I mean, think
if
about
you
it,
don't
bro.
stop it, what we'll have is about 16 teams is what we'll have.
Well, this is what I was told by a college basketball coach. He has dreams of getting into the Power 5 schools, right? He's at a school right now in which he said, and I quote, yeah, they'll pay for the player, but if the player doesn't pan out, they're looking at you for your job. So you're reluctant to pay. If you go get
FSU just hit violations. Florida is now looks like they're going to be hit with violations for pay for play. I'm telling you, it's not. It's a major problem. The NIL deals alone is not the problem. It's the pay for play that's the problem.
So the NIL deal, some NIL deal. I'm gonna tell you about an NIL deal that I know about. It's at a school, right? They're collecting. I'm talking about a basketball. Their NIL deal is $100,000 and a car. That's their NIL deal. So are you cool with that?
What's wrong with that?
Nothing. So what's the difference in paying for play? Because if you have a star,
okay,
if you
Jason,
have a star,
so that school's NIL deal is $100,000 plus a car. Okay, well then let's say the next tier up conference, some team calls them and says, "Hey, we can do $150,000 with a car," and then you go to a Power 5 conference and they get in a bidding war and they say, "Well, I can do 300, I can do 400, I can do $1 million." I mean, that is pay for play. That's what pay for play is.
So, Brad, that's been going on for centuries. I ain't gonna say centuries, decades. That's been going on for decades.
And Jason, when people got caught, there was major penalties.
So let me ask you a question. I'm glad you brought that up. So let me ask you a question. So why did we take Reggie Bush's Heisman Trophy away then?
Because it was a penalty for his mother getting a house from USC.
Oh, but it wasn't even. Think about it. He didn't take any money. He took.
I know he didn't. A house. I mean,
a house that had.
It wasn't proven that he took any money. No, but his mother got a house and I think a job. I think
it was a house because the house that they were living in had messed up and someone had a house for him. Reggie Bush falls victim because his mother did something. We penalize the kid for that, right? And so if you're going to take something, I'm out. If my thing is, you know what, too. If you're going to punish me for something, I should have taken something. If you're going to punish me like I took something, I should have taken something, period. But then you reverse it and allow things like this to happen. These kids are getting, and this is what I think should happen.
I mean,
I
Reggie
think
Bush, all that happened to him because they done something that wasn't legal. That's exactly what it was.
But Brad, if someone lets you stay in a house, that's not illegal.
Rent free, pay it for you and everything else. For a college kid, yes, it was illegal. Yes, it's in the rules. It was illegal.
Reggie Bush
At the
stayed on
time,
campus.
it was illegal.
Reggie Bush stayed on campus.
It doesn't matter. Your family can't get benefits either. You know that. When you was in school and in college, your family couldn't get benefits.
So now, Brad, what they're doing, if your team, if you make the NCAA tournament, right, they're allowing your families to fly to you free with room and board, with a room and a plane ticket. There are football games too. They're flying the parents in. What I'm saying is, compared to what we're seeing right now, Reggie Bush.
But again, Jason, you were talking about something that happened in 2004 and 2005.
But I'm talking about stuff that's been going on since 1980, 1990, 2000. So watch this. Do you think the Miami Hurricanes, when they had their run, they weren't paying their players to stay in town?
They got in trouble. And Miami Hurricanes got in trouble and was on probation for like 2 or 3 times.
So you not think Florida State was paying their players back then? You don't think Alabama? You don't
think
think Alabama's paying?
Sure
you don't think
State
Alabama? Hey, you know they say it ain't cheating unless you're trying.
So you think that everybody, all these teams, that it should be okay? You think all these teams should just try their best to cheat as much as possible?
I'm not saying try their best to cheat, but what I'm saying is, it's kind of like, how can I put it to make it sound even more better for you?
What I'm saying to you is there has to be somebody that's coming along, and I am very glad to see that they are putting penalties on teams like Florida State, Florida probably, and I hope they hit 10, 12, 15, 20 more of these teams that are doing this that should not happen. I don't care at all. I actually hope that the players make money.
I just don't see. And you know what? Calipari said the same thing. Calipari, and I heard, and you probably heard this too. You heard DeMarcus Cousins say this. Coach Cal said the realest thing to him. Watch this. And he said, you know what he said, right? He told him, if you want to stay, you're going to help take care of my family. Unfortunately, Brad, this is all some kids have. You see what I'm saying? And I think the NCAA tried to keep, now you're keeping more players in school.
Yeah, but now
the ones who want to go pro.
When you were in school, you're saying, I mean, it wasn't right. When you were in school and these kids couldn't get nothing, and 90% of these kids are never going to play pro sports anywhere.
And you know what they did? They gambled all night. They would do things to try to make money because.
But that wasn't right. But that's not what's happening in today's game.
But that's what that's what I'm saying. If they would have come up with a solution,
that's the reason why you see these people applying for a 6th year and a 7th year and an 8th year and a 9th year
because they're making money in college that they're not going to make once they leave.
100%. That's why you're seeing all these people apply for it.
So if you would have
the other day in Miami applied for a 9th year of college. I mean, it's
that's just ridiculous. But if now watch this. I went to, you know what school I went to? I'm not gonna say the name. I'm just gonna let you try to figure it out. I went to school, and star football player had 2 cars. He would drive one car, and his buddy would drive the car behind him. Not going to say his name or anything. I know he wouldn't. We know how he was getting the stuff. Like certain people were being taken care of. I was introduced to people. Hey, you might want to meet this guy. Me, I just didn't like talking to people like that.
It happened. There was all kinds of stuff
But
like
what
that
I'm saying is, if there's no reason for a guy who is playing any sport at a high level not to be compensated when these coaches are getting way more money. Like, I can sit here and hurt my knee. You know what they'll do? You know what? We'll make sure you get education. They could cut me. They started doing scholarship year to year. You remember back in the day, it was a 4-year deal.
Yeah.
It was a 4-year deal.
It
I
was
signed scholarship, you give 4 years.
Yep.
5 years if you need it. Then they took that away. And year, you had to prove
but
yourself.
Now they're giving people 5th year, 6th year, 7th year, 8th year.
Could you imagine back then if they allowed a grad transfer? You mean to tell me I could have graduated and then left to go to another school? They kept changing the rules, and then it snowballed into this. It was an NCAA mess up. Like, if we want to blame someone,
Jason, I'm not arguing that.
No.
I mean,
I'm just telling you that's where we at. I'm just telling you that's how we came to this. That's how we came to this. I'm not arguing
that. The NCAA is trash and has always been messing up and not ahead of the game.
So if you're making billions of dollars, and you guys might agree with me on this one, I think you should have made them guys a trust. Anybody who stayed 4 years, they got a trust set up for them that can start them on their way. You play your 4 years for your school, you graduate, here's X amount of dollars. You've earned this. Put the money up in a trust. You graduate, that's what you get. So that way, you got people staying in school. And it don't even have to be 40, 50,000.
So I got some guys here with me. I got Josh and Jerry, and they're kind of commenting on all this. I knew that me and Jason could have a good back and forth with this, because here's the difference between me and Jason. Jason views this as a player because Jason was a player, okay? And he views all this as a player. And a player who didn't get nothing when he was in school, okay? And Jason views this as a player. I view this more as a coach, more as administration, and more on the coach level and what's right and wrong. And Jason says, I'm a player. I just want to get mine. That's what Jason says. And, and I'm telling you, I know how you feel. I really do.
But
I know how you feel.
But Brad, if you're viewing it as a coach, right? A coach signs a contract, they come along, and another school offers them a job, they take more money and leave.
It doesn't happen very much in basketball,
Brad, but it happens. It happens.
You get these coaches at the big, at the better schools, they stay for a long time most of the time.
Brad, thank you. And why do they stay? Because they're well compensated.
But I mean, even like Memphis, they keep a coach for 10 years most of the time.
Well compensated. Their package. Brad, what was Nick Saban making?
$11 million.
Oh,
but he only won 6 titles.
Brad, I get that. So you mean to tell me he's making $11 million? So his players can't get $1,000 a week?
They for the last 4 years they've been getting a lot more than that.
I'm just saying, period. Think about it. Anybody, especially in football. Especially in football.
I mean, Bob Stoops stayed at Oklahoma like 18 years. I mean,
I wonder why.
Bobby Bowden stayed at Florida State for 30-some years.
I wonder why.
Joe Pa stayed at Penn State for 40 years.
I wonder why. You know what they did?
I'm just saying, most of these schools that coaches don't jump around quite like fans and players and stuff really want you to see.
But what I'm saying, Brad, is this is what I'm saying too, Brad. Looking from I'm gonna look at it from a booster standpoint. And we know what happened to Joe Pa. We ain't gonna talk about Joe Pa. But Florida State, This is what happened. A big time recruit come in town. I'm the head coach. You the booster. Oh, okay. I'll walk away from you. I don't know what y'all talking about. That's what I'm saying has been going on. Hey, they need to be taken care of. Let's take care of it. That's why they could stay
And Jason, they are being taken care of now. The players.
I'm talking about back then. Back then.
The players
that's why these coaches stay.
Care of now.
Think about it. Nowadays, for a coach to say to someone 30 years is unheard of. It's unheard of for a coach to say someone 30 years.
There you go, Jason. We'll try to get you one at UK, an NIL deal for you.
Oh man, it's over with for me. You always want to leave somewhere better. So when I go back to Oxford and see all that stuff, I'd be like, I'm happy for the next generation.
But I just had to throw that out there. Jason's a really cool kid, cool cat. I like him a lot. But I knew that we could have a good back and forth if I brought this one up. So especially with Jason on tonight, I was like, okay, I got to bring that one up because I know it'll be a good one. So that was part of the reason why I brought that one up. All right, we're going to end the show with our good, the bad, and the ugly. So tonight we can go back to last week. We'll start with the good. What do you say is the good in college sports for the last week?
Like we've been saying, the good. A lot of parity going on. A lot of good basketball is being played. You know, a lot of teams are being upset, but that's what college basketball is all about. You know, David versus Goliath. Just in general, just that, man. So in college basketball, the good is a lot of teams are playing well.
My good is going to be that the NCAA finally cleared Zvonimir Ivicic. What his name is?
Yeah.
Big Z. I'm going to say that was the good. His game on Saturday and the way he got to play at home and hitting the 4 threes, the behind the back pass, it really was a sight to see. I was so happy for him and his family. His family has been through a lot trying to get him here and to get him eligible for over 5 months. It was insane that they were sitting on it like they were. But I was very happy to see that he got a moment. Hopefully, we can make that into something more than just the moment, but the moment was pretty special. So I'm going to say that. All right. What was your bad for the past week?
The bad. We talking about college sports? College sports.
Yep.
The bad. Man, DePaul was real bad. 3-15, they ended up firing their coach.
They fired their coach. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think that DePaul is going to. I think when they could have hired John Shire from Duke, they should have did it. But they let Duke let him be the coach in waiting. I think they were a little afraid to pull the trigger on him. I think that they should have got someone young in there and vibrant who could energize their program. But yeah, that was bad. That was bad.
Yeah, they fired their coach this week. Actually, yesterday, maybe something like that. I can't remember. But yeah, they've been bad. Speaking of that, I mean, and you could almost say this every week, but I mean, Louisville with Kenny Payne. I mean, gosh, I just don't know how.
But he took over a bad program, and you can't say no to your alma mater. He went to Louisville. You see what I'm saying?
I know.
So just kind of like Patrick Ewing was, like you got to say yes, and you got to hope that you can turn things around. You know,
but it's not a good situation at all. And
no, but it's a 3-year situation. It's gonna take 3 years though, 2 to 3 years to rebuild. It's gonna take 2 to 3 years.
Do you think he gets it? This is just his second season.
Well, think about it. He took over last year, like right before the season started. So he couldn't do nothing. Then he got a chance to recruit and see what he can get. Can't get certain things. So now he has to rebuild through the
But
transfer.
do you think he actually gets that? I'm not so sure that he gets another year.
He gonna get one more year. He gonna get because that's gonna be officially 2 years. The first year doesn't count because he took over so late. Yeah, the first year was a wash. This year, next year, if he starts out bad, he is over.
Yeah, I think. All right, what's your ugly for the last week in college?
The ugly last week. Ole Miss on the road. Ole Miss on the road. Losses to LSU and Auburn. Bad losses on the road, man. That my refs has got to find a way to bottle up how they play in at home and take it on the road. They look good at times, but then they look real ugly at times. My Ole Miss refs have got to look better on the road. We got to get to 500 on the road.
Well, in that same token, Kentucky looked pretty ugly tonight. I have to say, I have to be honest with you. And again, it's on the road, and us Kentucky fans are kind of catching the hype train just a little bit. Kentucky seems to be a lot better than they have been, but at the same time, there's some defensive issues going on with this team. And the offense had been clicking all through most of every one of these games. They had averaged 91.6, the highest average in the country, points scored in the country before tonight, and they scored 62 points and just don't look good. So I thought it was pretty ugly tonight, I have to say. Hopefully they can get that fixed.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So as far as I know, right now, we will be on Thursday night, which is the 25th. And we will do our college sportscast game day pick'em at 8 o'clock. And I appreciate y'all being with me tonight. And Jason, thanks for hanging with me tonight, man. I appreciate it. And we will come in and do our game day pick'ems. We could do this on Friday night. We had been doing them on Friday the last 2 weeks. Seems to work a little better in college basketball since the football season's over with, because the spreads come out for the Saturday games on Friday afternoon. So we may switch this up and do it Friday instead of Thursday.
Let me know. I might be able to do that. That might be good for me if I'm just in the
Friday?
house. It depends. Just let me know. I don't know yet. I hadn't decided if I'm going to go to any
on Fridays.
On Friday. If I'm not decided, if I don't go to any high school games, in a high school game. But yeah, that should be. I might be able to do that.
Okay, man.
All right,
man.
Y'all
Y'all have a good night.